I am so excited you're here today because we are diving deep into a project that is absolutely setting the festival circuit on fire. Now, if you're like me, you probably know Robert Aramayo as the young, stoic Elrond from the Rings of Power. He's got that ethereal, composed vibe down to a science, right? But forget everything you know about Middle-earth because Robert is shedding the pointed ears and the elven grace for a role that is raw, unfiltered, and frankly, a total girl boss masterclass in acting. We're talking about his new biopic, I Swear. And trust me, this is the kind of performance that shifts a career from rising star to award season heavyweight. I Swear isn't just another biopic, it's a visceral journey directed by Kirk Jones, the mind behind My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2. But don't let that rom-com pedigree fool you. This film is a heavy hitter. It tells the true story of John Davidson, a man living in Scotland in the late 80s and early 90s. Imagine being a teenager in a time when mental health wasn't just a taboo topic, it was practically non-existent in the public consciousness. John starts out as your typical teen, but suddenly he's hit with uncontrollable vocal tics and expletives. Today, we know this as Tourette's syndrome, but back then, people thought he was possessed, rebellious, or just plain broken. The film splits the narrative between John's younger years, played by a phenomenal newcomer named Scott Ellis Watson, and his adulthood, where Robert Aramayo takes the reins. We watch John lose his friends, his education, and his standing in his community because of a condition he literally cannot control. It is an unapologetic look at an era of ignorance, and the film refuses to sanitize the experience. The performances. A new level of craft. Let's talk about Robert Aramayo, moving from the quiet confidence of a high elf to a man who is constantly at war with his own body is a massive leap. Robert captures the physical exhaustion of Tourette's, the way the tics drain your energy, and the constant anxiety of just trying to exist in a public space. It's a loud, demanding role, and yet he finds these quiet pockets of humanity that will absolutely break your heart. But we have to give flowers to Scott Ellis Watson, too. For this to be his first major credit is actually insane. He plays young John with such vulnerability that you feel every ounce of his fear. There are scenes in the first half of the movie involving child abuse and societal cruelty that are honestly hard to watch. They're uncomfortable, they're gritty, and they don't hold back on how poorly understood Tourette's was. And for my Rings of Power fans, there is a mini reunion. Peter Nolan, who plays King Durin, shows up here and provides some of the most tender and surprisingly funny moments in the film. The chemistry between Robert and Maxine Peake, who plays Dottie, the nurse who finally helps John find his path, is the emotional heartbeat of the story. It's that found family trope done with such sophistication that it never feels cheesy. Okay, let's get into my personal take. Why should you care about this movie? In a world of safe biopics that feel like they were made just to win Oscars, I Swear feels dangerous and honest. I love that the film doesn't treat John's condition as a punchline. While there are moments of humor, because life is funny even in the dark times, it's always rooted in John's perspective. The direction by Kirk Jones is fascinating because he starts the movie treating the condition as something scary and chaotic, mirroring how John feels. But in the second half, the tone shifts. It becomes just a part of who he is. It's a beautiful transition from tragedy to acceptance. My only real con here? The ending. It's very emotional, but it feels like the movie ends about 3 different times. It borrows a bit of that Return of the King energy with multiple finales. But honestly, when the performances are this good, I didn't really want to leave the theater anyway. This is a story about human perseverance and the girl boss energy of Dottie, the woman who saw John's potential when the rest of the world saw a problem. We need more characters like her in cinema. I Swear is a tough watch, but it's a necessary one. It's a reminder of how far we've come in understanding mental health and a showcase for why Robert Aramayo is one of the best actors of his generation. It'll make you cry, it'll make you angry, but by the time the credits roll, you'll feel like you actually learned something about the human spirit. But I want to hear from you guys. Are you excited to see Robert Aramayo step away from the fantasy world and into something this grounded? And how do you feel about biopics that lean into the uncomfortable truths rather than playing it safe? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to smash that like button if you enjoyed this breakdown, and make sure you're subscribed to the film Frontline for all your deep dives into the biggest news in Hollywood. I'm out for now, but I'll see you in the next one.